This is paragraph 1 for Operation Bobcat Lightning. Time effective 29th August 0900. Our task is to disrupt enemy forces in AO Ronin in order to deny enemy influence on the battalion main element. You can see our squad, first squad, will be the main element in our platoon, and our task is to attack to destroy objective Phantom in order to deny enemy influence on battalion operations. Our key weapon systems are the M249, and we also have a weapons team attachment, and their task is to support by fire in order to deny enemy influence on the battalion. Our key weapon systems are the M240 for that weapons team. We also have second squad here, and their task is to suppress enemy forces on objective Ghost in order to deny support for objective Phantom. Their key weapon systems are the M249. And for third squad, their task is to destroy enemy and objective Reaper in order to suppress enemy forces in the enemy AO. Their key weapon systems are the M249. Here we have the area of interest and the area of operations overlay. We're going to be working along the northernmost point of Route Camaro, the southernmost point of where Route Camaro down here and the coastal mountain range here kind of start to intersect. So we can see this little valley here, but that's where our southmost point is. If we start to see that valley, that's when we know we're going a little too far south. Our eastmost point is the coastal mountains here, right along here. And then our westmost point is the river here. And here we can see our northern arrow just to orient everybody. This is our GTAO. We can see here that there is going to be a lot of restricted terrain due to mountains and a little bit of water that we're going to have to deal with. This river here should not be in the way of our mission, but we do have a small river here, a river or marsh, that we're going to have to cross, so make sure we pack enough wet weather gear or anything you might need to do that and stay prepared for it. Change of socks too, and potentially boots. We do expect rain, so we do expect this river to be flowing, or if it's a marsh, we expect it to be a little more wet than it would be if it were to be dry. For our First Avenue approach here, we go along from our patrol base, that would be right here, and we go along this mountain down here until we get to an intersection at this key terrain. That's key terrain 1, and then we push on to objective Phantom moving southeast. For our avenue of approach 2, we're going to be moving down along to this coastal mountain range here, and we're going to be moving along the northmost point of it down to here. This is key terrain 2, where we will be taking the high ground for better observations in fields of fire on objective Phantom, which we expect to be right in this area here. And once we attack, we expect the enemy's plan. We expect their avenue of approach is to either reconsolidate up north with the other enemy forces. We expect this if we do attack from avenue of approach 2. And then if we attack from avenue of approach 1, we expect them to take this avenue of approach down here, just straight south, to reconsolidate and get away from our forces. Again, we have the high and coastal mountain range being our biggest obstacles, in the Bannon River. The river, again, we're not going to have to worry about too much, but this little river here that feeds off of it from this mountain range, we will have to have a little concern for it, just because it may slow down our movement a little bit. The mountain range and the water does affect our avenues of approach, and this makes it easier for the enemy recon squad to detect us. The enemy recon squad, we expect to be working along this area here, and we will be sending out a scout team just to determine where the enemy recon squad is we're going to send them, if we take Avenue of Approach 1 for example, we're going to send them out when we're about here and try to determine using sills, just try to find them. And if we don't see them, we will be taking Avenue of Approach 1. If we do see them, we're going to move and take Avenue of Approach 2. For key terrain, we have the intersection at UF 1120, 3213. Right here, that's an intersection that allows for high-speed avenues of approach. Can allow us to get to Objective Phantom here faster and retreat faster if need be. For the enemy, if they get this, if they get key terrain 1 at this intersection, it'll allow them to retreat up north faster to their other forces. And again, just a high-speed avenue of approach. For key terrain 2, we have the edge of the mountain at 1280 and 3180. This would be really key for us because if we were able to capture this, we have high ground on the enemy mortar team at Objective Phantom. And for some observations in fields of fire, the mountain range and trees will affect us. Both limit our fields of fire, but it also limits the recon squad's view of us, as well as the mortar teams. The better we stay undetected during this mission, the easier it's going to go. We don't want to take a squad-on-squad attack, as we lose the advantage there that we want with the squad-on-team attack with that mortar team. And for cover and concealment, again, the trees and mountains, there's going to be plenty of trees, very mountainous, so expect it to be a little rocky. That'll be great for cover and concealment, especially from that recon squad. Weather, we have about a 98 to 99% cloud coverage during our mission. When we look at 29th August, we can see 87% humidity. So make sure we're hydrating and fueling up correctly for this mission because it will be hot and will be sweaty, especially with the precipitation at 75%, so expect rain. Like we said, that river will flow. Again, high of 88 and a low of 76. Again, fuel up, hydrate, make sure we have water, cross load if need be. Wind won't be too big of a factor as well. Yeah. This is the enemy at the company level analysis, and we expect them to be, from our analysis, we expect them to be at about 90% strength with about 145 packs. Again, we have our mission here, Objective Phantom, with this enemy mortar team, and then we have an enemy platoon occupying this area here, and then this enemy squad. Again, that's the recon squad that we have to worry about along our mission. And we have enemies down here, won't be a factor for us. It's a little bit out of our way. And then we have enemies up here. If the mortar team decides to retreat up north, they could reconsolidate with this platoon. And then we'd have to retreat back up north because we do not want a platoon plus a mortar team on our squad attack. This is the enemy situation at the platoon analysis, and again at about 90% strength. We have a squad occupying a village here. Again, the recon squad, our biggest concern during this mission. We have our mortar team that we're trying to destroy down here on Objective Phantom, and then we have this enemy squad occupying this area. And then again, another enemy squad disrupting forces along this road that may try to come down there. And this is the enemy composition and strength and enemy sit temp at our level. We have this, again, the recon squad here with the task to screen in order to prevent our forces from destroying their mortar team. We have an enemy infantry squad here with the task to occupy in order to prevent our forces from capturing this village right here. And then we have the mortar team here, whose task is to support by fire in order to prevent our forces from capturing their AO. And then going back to this, this mortar team is the most decisive element to their AO and their mission, because that's giving support by fire to their entire battalion. And it just provides extra security and lethal firepower for them to use on our forces, so the quicker we destroy it, the better our mission is going to be. Their main effort is this reconnaissance squad, though, that is trying to prevent us from getting to this mortar team. And this is our concept sketch at the platoon level. But for our company, again, for Charger Company, we want to disrupt enemy forces in AO Ronin in order to deny enemy influence on the battalion. Our key tasks are to disrupt enemy operations in depth, deny enemy uncontested use of high-speed avenues of approach, retain maximum combat power, and avoid decisive engagements. And then we want to reconsolidate 2nd and 3rd platoon at the end of our mission. The end state of having more Torbian forces in zone disrupted without accurate knowledge of Charger element composition or disposition. We want to minimize civilian casualties and collateral damage to infrastructure, and we want our dispersed elements reconsolidated, postured for followed up offensive operations. We have the adjacent units, 2nd platoon in intermittent radio contact, as well as 3rd platoon. For a platoon intent, we want to disrupt enemy forces in AO Ronin in order to deny enemy influence on the battalion. Again, same key tasks with the same end states. And then we have 2nd squad here, and their task is to ambush Objective Reaper in order to destroy it. Over here in Axis Smash, coming right from our patrol base. Then we have Axis Fake with 3rd squad, and they're going to use a demonstration in order to suppress enemy on Objective Ghosts. And then here we'll be taking Axis Ultra down to Objective Phantom in order to destroy Objective Phantom so that they don't have any more influence with the mortar team.